The current administration inherited the forensic lab from the previous SLP administration. Tourism Minister Alan Chastanet says, though necessary, the lab was poorly thought out. Chastanet says it is a project too expensive to have been envisioned only for local use.
We do not have proper forensic services. Government after government have come in. We've now built a forensic lab, something I'm not in support of, because I feel that the forensic lab should have been a regional approach. I don't think any one of us has sufficient crime in itself to justify a forensic lab by itself. I mean, we may think that 26 or 30 murders or 35 murders is a lot of murders, but when you calculate it in terms of what it costs to run a forensic lab, it's a lot of money on a per murder basis.
The man whose government began the forensic lab project has called on the minister to check his facts. Dr. Kenny Anthony says the lab was always envisioned as an OECS-wide initiative. He says the minister may have to look within his cabinet to know why it is not being used in that capacity.
On average, in the last few years, we have had continuously 30 murders a year, sometimes much more than 30. You can't look at murder statistics in isolation, select one year and say 30 murders don't justify a forensic lab. The fact of the matter is, I don't think the minister is aware of what is going on in his own government. When the forensic lab was conceived, the intention always was that the forensic lab will provide services to other OECS countries. It was a question of inviting other countries to access the services of the forensic lab in St.Lucia. The problem may well be that there is such a lack of confidence in the integrity of the government of St.Lucia that some countries may well feel uneasy to approach the government of St.Lucia to provide these services.
Dr. Anthony is also taking the government to task for taking time to complete the lab.
The government has delayed for the past 3 years on completing the forensic lab, and it is a usual political story. It was an initiative by the St. Lucia Labour Party, so they delayed it and delayed. Imagine that they got a forensic lab that was near completion nearly 3 years ago, and it is only now reaching the final stages of completion.
Forensics is a necessary component of crime solving. Crime Chief Vernon Francois a few weeks ago lamented the expense of gathering it from overseas. He says it is a timely process that results in criminals being set free before forensics can tie them to a crime.
In the absence of eyewitnesses, what we have to work with is physical evidence, and in addition to the prohibitive cost of physical evidence, it's a long process. As you are aware, we do not do our own processing of physical evidence in St. Lucia. There is a requirement at this point in time for us to send the evidence over to England for processing, and all of that takes a little while and is, like I said, highly expensive to do.
From the outside looking in, the forensic lab located at Tapillon appears complete. No final word has come from the Justice Ministry on when it will be officially opened for business. Carmi Joseph, HTS News, Channel 4.